would like to welcome today's third speaker, Dr. Sunil Yadav, who is going to present his talk on common protein sources used in poultry feed formulation. Talking about Dr. Sunil Yadav, he did his PhD in animal nutrition from Haryana Agricultural University, Hisar in 2005. His PhD research was on mineral status and use in animal industries. He is working in this industry from the last 25 years, having feed formulation experience of more than 20 years. He is currently doing nutritional consultancy for poultry, dairy, and even swine feed. He has a vast experience of broiler, layer, breeder, and dairy feed formulation with satisfied customers in North India and Nepal, and also in Bangladesh. He was associated with a Bangladeshi company where he did poultry and dairy formulation till 2020. Since May 2020, Dr. Yadav is doing freelance nutritional consulting, and he is now doing multi-stage formulation in cattle and poultry to more than 16 different commercial feed mills in Nepal and northern India. Today, Dr. Yadav is going to talk on commonly used protein sources in chicken feed formulation. Once again, I would like to request Dr. Yadav to focus his talk more on the protein sources more relevant to the Nepalese and Indian context. Dr. Yadav, please go ahead with your presentation.
Okay, doctor, thank you. I will just add, I think. Can you see this? Hello?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
Can you please enlarge it or in
yes.
the presentation mode? Can you put it in?
Yes.
Fine.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody, which are present in the meeting. So I think I came a little bit earlier. And my topic is common protein source used in chicken formulation. As all know that these are the certain raw materials used in poultry, mainly in India and Nepal. So you can see soybean, then two type of soybean, normal soya, then hypro soya, then groundnut cake, groundnut DOC, MBM, meat compound meal, mustard rapeseed meal or cake. Then some parts of India, they are using cottonseed cake also. Then DDGS, co-feed is the new concept in India, like one company, Rocket, in India, they make some product from maize, corn gluten meal, maize germ meal, and corn steep liquor. So these are certain raw materials which I cover one by one, and certain points, some negativity and some positive points. And main source of protein is soya. That is almost all over the world, or if we can take in India and Nepal, major source is soya. And we are having different source of soybean, particularly in India, two type of soya. One is normal, one is hypro. And hypro protein is around 48 to 50%, whereas normal 46%. But in Nepal, we are getting more of soya of US soya, then Bangladesh soya, and that is all hypro, but their protein is less, 46 to 47%. And but fat level is high, like 2.5%, and crude fiber is also less. And recently some concept in the market about low fat soya. low fat soya is like protein is around 44% and fat is 6%. This low fat soya, I will. So low fat soya, these are small things. I think I will discuss one by one in this difference in this soya. And generally you see this protein difference in Indian high pro and US high pro is due to seed protein and this thing, because Indian seed having around 38% protein and US seed having 36% protein. So that gap differentiate in the protein of the soya. And another is full fat soybean meal. This full fat soybean, because they process the seed without extraction of the oil. So generally, if you see, it contains around 38 to 39% protein and 17 to 19% oil, and sand silica less than 1%, fiber maximum 6%. And it is very good source of high fat level, because if you take in the formulation, then it gives around 3,800 kilocalorie energy and around 18% fat. So when you add even 10%, you can reduce 18 kg of oil in the feed. And it is the very good oil because it is bound form of oil. So oxidation problem is not there. And there, trypsin inhibition is destroyed when they do the heating process. So it can be extruded or it can be flakes. Two types available in the market. So it is where full fat soya, that is we can't make oil separate. So it is oil intact with the material. So synergic effect due to having oil and protein in it. And there are very few chance of adulteration, because in flakes no chance, but in once they are using in powder form, then maybe some possibilities, but very less. And it also contains some small of lecithin, which work in digestible of oil. And it is very good source of vitamin E. This low fat soybean, this is recently, I think some of Indian crusher doing in Indore part, because they are selling this as a organic soya for human consumption and other thing in US or Europe. And in this process, they are having like first they have to heat by extruder, and then extruder, that material contains around 18% of fat and 38% of protein. Then they pass into the this expeller, and expeller extract 10 to 11% oil. So its oil comes around 6% left in the soybean. So it can be like free from any chemicals and pesticides, and it is very good in energy source because 6% oil is there. So this concept came because this investment of this extruder and expeller is not much. In Indian, I think around 1.5 crore IC. And other benefits of this low fat soya is like it moisture is very less, around 6%. Whereas soybean, which we are using, it around 11 to 12% moisture. And it is having more of oil, that definitely it is good for broiler diets. And maybe layer chick and other also it is good. And also in cattle feed and pig feed also people are using. And if we compare like soya oil and soybean meal, then I think it is, they are giving at a nominal price. These are the certain check which because soya is our major raw material, so you have to check certain parameter like urea activity. It should be in the range of 0.05 to 0.2. If it is more than this 0.2, then it is undercooked, and if it is less activity like less than 0.05, then it is a overcooked. Then after that, some good test is protein solubility index. That should be 73 to 85%. Then protein dispersibility index 15 to 30%. And sand silica should not be more than 2%. Generally, if you see US soya, their sand silica is less than 1%. Indian soya, it is Hypro soya, it is less than 1.5%, but normal soya, it is less than 2%. After that, we are having some like meat cum bone meal, MBM. Earlier, India, we are using like for buffalo meat, we are using this MBM. But earlier, I think in Bangladesh and Nepal, customers are importing from Europe. And that is not now, I think, banned in both the countries, Bangladesh as well as Europe, Nepal. But India, we are using this MBM. So I think it is good source of protein, fat, phosphorus, and calcium. And it should be sterilized, so free from bacteria, E. coli, and Salmonella. And its protein is around 42 to 45%. Fat is around 8 to 12%. Phosphorus 4 to 6%, and calcium 11 to 12%. And its digestibility is around 82 to 88% pepsin digestibility. And level we can use up to 7%, so 3 to 7%. And because MBM, like now, sometimes there is scarcity of animals, then people are adulterating this MBM with the leather meal. So that is not good for poultry. These are the specification of MBM. Protein 40 to 45%, fat 8 to 12, phosphorus 4.5 to 6, calcium 10 to 12, S 36 to 38, moisture 5 to 6, and pepsin digestibility 82 to 87%. These are the specification for good MBM. Then in India, we are having this maize bran, or you can say corn gluten feed. So it is byproduct of maize wet milling, and it consists of maize outer cover and the soluble harvested from the corn steeping. It is good source of digestible proteins. It is good for cattle and poultry both. So if you see the nutrition value of this product, protein 19 to 20%, fat is 1 to 1.5, fiber 8 to 10. And if you check TDN 65 and metabolic energy 2300 kilocalorie. And it contains like lysine 0.52, methionine 0.4. So it is good source of amino acids also. So it generally we are using it like for when DRB cost is high and we require like alternate for DRB or some energy source, then we are using this maize bran. And next is maize gluten meal, like corn gluten meal or maize gluten meal. It is produced during the starch separation from maize. High protein content, like maybe some are more than 60%. Then high energy product also, because no other protein source having such energy. And digestible protein is around 90 to 91%. And rich in xanthophyll also. Xanthophyll means like for yolk color. If you use good amount of this, then it affect on the yolk color also, feed color also, and carcass of broiler also. And sometimes you see the leg of the broiler is also yellow due to this. And it is very rich in bypass protein. 70% is bypass, which is good for high milking animals. And but in this also, I seen in Nepal one Chinese CGM that contains protein is more than 60%. But if you see that color is very light yellow. And if you see maize gluten meal from India and other countries, very dark yellow. So we found a lot of problem in that CGM. I think some feed mills they use and they found the loose doping problem. And it was, in my opinion, it contains some of leather meal actually, because leather meal contains more than 70% protein, but that is not digestible for poultry. So that may be the reason that CGM, Chinese CGM, caused the loose doping problem. These are the parameters like crude protein 60%, fat 2 to 4%, fiber less than 2%, S less than 2%, and energy is, I think they put 37, it should be 3750, not 3550, because as per lesion and summer, these are 3750. And it is very good source of methionine, around 2.79%. And lysine is 1.12%. So it is very good source of methionine. Then for the feed color also, it could very good color to the feed. Then leg of the broilers also become yellowish. So that is very good for poultry. Then another material people are using here is maize germ meal. It obtained from oil extraction from the germs. They take the germ and extract the oil. After oil, this oil that goes to the human consumption, human food. And this germ cake is high quality feed ingredient for cattle and highly digestible protein, high energy, at it contains more of oil and soluble carbohydrate, and excellent raw material for cattle and layers. If you see its analysis, like crude protein 20 to 22% and fat is 7 to 8%. And if you check energy, that is 2850 kilocalorie. And it is very good in phosphorus, 3.5%. Then corn steep liquor, it is like raw material for cattle, poultry, and aqua feeds. And it is very rich source of protein, like 22% protein. In cattle, it improves the rumen fermentation and thus improves the productivity. And lactic acid present in the CSL is beneficial for poultry and aqua. If you see protein content is around 22% and total phosphorus is 1.7, available phosphorus is 0.6%. And if you see energy 1500 kilocalorie, then lysine 0.5, methane 0.35. So this can be used like it is in liquid form, and it can be used like when feed moisture is less, then definitely it is a very good product for layers and cattle feed. Then next is groundnut or peanut meal. Generally, before soya, maybe before 20 years, like 20 years or 25 years, Nobody was, soya was rarely used, and this major use is groundnut cake. This groundnut cake, and or you can say peanut cake. It contains around 40 to 47% crude protein. Generally, it available in two forms market, like one is groundnut cake, another is groundnut extraction. So cake having around 6% oil, whereas the extraction having less than 1% oil. But protein is like extraction is 47% or 45%, whereas in cake with oil it is 40 to 42%. And it contains very good amount of arginine. If you make formulation with GNE, maybe you can add 4%, 3%, 4%. Then I think no need to add any arginine in the formulation. So this also contain trypsin, but it destroyed by heating. As you know, there's groundnut. It is an underground legume and very susceptible to fungal and aspergillus. So it contaminated with the high aflatoxins. That's why it use in poultry is restricted. It can be used from 3 to 7% based on the aflatoxin level, based on the diet, like whether it is layer or broiler or whatever the diet. So according to aflatoxin, we have to consider its dose. Then DDGS, it is dried distilled grain solubles, and this grain become very popular. I think when soya price increased 1 year back, and before that people are using in very limited this one like for layers. But after this soya episode, customers they are using DDGS in broilers also, and layer they are replacing soya. Some are partially, some are completely. So DDGS is the byproduct of distillery using different source of grain. Actually, this can be because in the US they are using maize for ethanol, so they are making DDGS for maize. But in India mainly it is from rice. Even Nepal also, I think one distillery is there in Butwal. They are also using rice. And in market, two type of DDGS available. One is manual dry in the sunlight, and another is by the heater installed by the factories. And it is having different protein range on the material used and process. That depends on the process, and it ranges from 40 to 60%. Generally, factories dried DDGS contain 40 to 47% protein, where sun-dried DDGS having 40 to 60% protein. So, different range of protein source DDGS available in Indian market. It's having good nutritional parameters. In India, layer using up to 16%. And total replacement of soya. Generally, in layers, people are replacing soya with the DDGS. And as much as I see in some customer, they are using even 16%. Broilers, 2 to 5% depend on the quality of DDGS and its sources. Breeders not using any DDGS. Some problem if it is not dried properly. For sun-dry problem of some toxins, salt, smell, and attractant of flies. For factory dry, depend on their dryer time and temperature. Overheating also destroy protein and blackish color. So these are the nutritional profile for DDGS. If you see difference in factory dried and sun dried, crude protein around 45 in factory dried, and fiber 5.8, fat 2.5, and energy kilocalorie 2600, calcium and phosphorus 0.5, and lysine you see 1.71, but good source of methionine 1.3%. And if you see and if you see this sun dried, then it is protein we are using up to 60%, and their energy is 2900. And if you see sorry, if you see this methionine percentage, it's around 1.86%. So it is very good for methionine source. Generally in layers, when we are using more than 10%, so there is no use of methionine, only they are using lysine because it is deficient in lysine. Then next is mustard, rapeseed, DOC or canola. These are the different variety of rapeseed. So, but rapeseed contains less of lysine, but sulfur amino acids are better as per the unit of dietary protein. And after soya, particularly in Nepal, India, this is the second raw material which all category of materials like broilers, layers, we are using this material, depend on their formulation. And maximum we used up to 6% due to its anti-nutritional factors. In layers, we use up to 6%, and for broilers 4 to 5%, because we can't use more because of this less energy in this. It is rich in erucic acid and goitrogen, but canola not having much of these anti-nutritional factor, which referred as 00 variety, or you can say canola having you can be used up to 8% without any adverse effect. But if you use more, then it will not having any adverse effect on the performance, but egg size can be reduced by 1 gram. That can be observed if you use more than 8%. And rapeseed contains synapine, which affect only brown egg layers, which produce egg with the fishy and offensive odor. So that's why this mustard use is not, or mustard or rapeseed DOC use is less, maybe for 6% in layers due to this fishy and offensive odor in the egg. This is the nutritional profile. Like if you see mustard, two type of rapeseed available in the market. One is DOC, one is meal. Generally in poultry, we are using DOC, whose protein is 36 to 38%, crude fiber 10 to 12%, fat 1 to 1.5, energy around 2000, calcium 0.65, available for 0.45. And if you see lysine 1.76 and methionine is 0.69, almost equal to soya. If you see meal, that is 32 to 36%, and oil is 6 to 7%. And generally we are using this in the cattle feed, not in poultry, because of its pungent smell and more of erucic acid. Then next raw material is fish meal. Fish meal, before this, I think before MBM, fish meal came in the market. Earlier, people are using fish meal mainly in layers and broilers. But after, because they are having issue of some availability issue, then sterilize issue. So now people are shifting to MBM, generally in broilers and layers. But fish meal also, if good fish is available, then it is very good for poultry also. And if you use more of fish, then it gives taint of meat or egg if you use more than 2% in the feed. Generally, if you use more than 2% fish with more of oil, like if fish contain 8 to 10% oil, then it is difficult to use more than 2%. But if oil is less than 2, then you can use 4 to 5% also. And if oil is more, then you have to stabilize with the antioxidant. And it is poorly processed fish meal fed to young chicks. If it is not processed properly and it is not sterilized, then it causes the gizzard erosion. And we never depend on this fish meal completely because its quality and other issues are there. And it should be purchased by the control like moisture. We check the moisture, protein, fat. Fat vary from 2 to 20%. Then crude fiber, sand and silica, not less than 5%. So not more than 5%, sorry. So it should not be more than 5% because some these fish miller, they put salt on that just to prevent the bacterial growth. But we have to check, it should not be more than 5%. Fish meal calcium varies from 5 to 10%. Available phosphorus vary from 1.5 to 4%. And urea should be nil, because sometime what happens, like fish, nowadays fish meal, that protein is around 30 to 35%. So to make it 40 to 45%, they add urea also. So that should not be there. And fish meal should be used based on the salt percentage, how much salt it contains, depend on that. You have to calculate in the formulation how much salt you require. And in that case, you need not to add any salt because already salt is very high in fish meal. So you have to calculate fish salt also after completing the salt in the feed. And sometime when they not store proper, then decomposition, rancidity problem, then bacterial, mainly E. coli, salmonella. And just to increase the protein, they add the leather meal, because that is a leather meal doesn't have any smell, and protein is around 70 to 75%. So, and it is very high in limiting amino acids like lysine, methionine, like lysine 2.98 and methionine 1.15% in 50% protein fish meal. And in some part of India, like in Mangalore and other, we are getting fish meal of 50%, 60%, like that. But that goes in the shrimp feed or shrimp feed in South India or other parts. But poultry people are not using because of its pricing. But 30 to 35% protein available, that is that can be used in layers and maybe fish feed. The next raw material is sesame meal, that is til cake. This is also available in some time, like last time when soya was very high, so we used this sesame meal in a very good quantity. This is deficient in lysine but very good in methionine. and it's having a high level of phytic acid, which can cause problem with calcium metabolism, which leading to skeletal disorders or poor egg cell quality. So it binds the calcium, or it get the problem in calcium metabolism. So poor egg cell quality also one of the reason. And if diet contains more than 10%, then diet should add 0.2% extra calcium. It's available in 3 colors like brown color, black color, white. Generally in market, we see in black color, that is low in protein, whereas white color, that is very good in protein, more than 45% protein. So these are the 3 colors available in the market. So we have to select like protein wise, like white is more than 45%, black is less than 30%, and brown is 36 to 38% or 40% up to. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sunil Yadav, for your wonderful presentation of practical importance, and which was very contextual to our part of world. So now I would like to help you to go through the questions. In the meantime, dear participants, if you have any question regarding this presentation, please feel free to drop your queries in chat box. So there is a question from Mr. Vivek Bhatta. He is a dignified poultry industrialist and feed miller in Western Nepal. He is asking about the maximum inclusion ratio of low fat soya. I think he trying to say full fat soya in feed. Bhatta
Low
sir, are
fat or
you?
good?
Bhatta sir, are you there?
Yes, Dr. Vivek.
Yeah, you are talking about full fat soya, right?
Yeah. I'm talking about the full fat
Yeah,
soya.
yeah.
Actually,
The
that
type.
was the mistake.
No problem.
Low fat.
Okay, accept. No problem.
Actually,
Yeah,
we want to set up the extruder, dry extruder of the soya seed.
okay.
Yes, Dr. Yadav.
Actually, full fat soya we used up to 10% without any effect, a side effect. And you can use because in certain parts, like I seen in Bangladesh, what they did, they take the seed and they boil it, and then it they dry it, and they use up to 15%. But I think that practice is not good, because they are unable to make the heat treatment properly, and their urine activity we checked in many samples, and they found undercooked actually. So that type of but in India we used around 10 to 12%.
That means, Dr. Yadav, you are saying dry method is perfect for the full fat soya instead of the wet method.
Yes, because dry method,
Actually, wet method,
if you are using with extruder, so extruder is good for, but you need to check whether temperature is proper or not, and how much temperature and time are also important in that extruder actually.
In China, more feed millers and the poultry farmer, they are using the wet method. Because of, I don't know why they are using the wet method. They have a type of the cooker. They first sterilize there, then after they expandle.
Yes.
They get the oil from soybean seed.
No, they will not get actually. That is like in India also, one Maharashtra feed, they had used this soya flakes actually, full fat soya flakes.
Yeah.
So that flakes, they clean the grains then they put in the cooker, then they cook it up to more than 100 degrees centigrade, and then they make dryer, and they make it flakes. But extruder, I think extruder people are using for just it comes in the powder form.
Yeah.
And it is also a good method, because this low fat soya people are making by extruder and expeller, both combination.
Dr. Saab, rice DDGS is good for layer bars.
Yes.
You already mentioned we can full replacement of the soybean in rice DDGS.
Yes,
Can we use?
Yes, we trialed, actually. We trialed many, but in Nepal, particularly, if you see Nepal, if you go in like Tarai areas,
Yeah.
you can use DDGS, because people are using some 3%, 5%, 6%. So there's no problem. But once we start in Kathmandu, then acceptance is less in the feed, actually. Feed acceptance is less in the birds, actually, because they are using soya regular basis. So if you want to use complete replacement of soya, then you have to start with the growing age or starting age. Starting age, little bit soya and more of DDGS, and up to growing stage, you full of DDGS without soya. And then when it comes to laying, there is no need of adding soya.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Yadav.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now I think it will be wise to let Dr. Praveen Kumar Singh to put his question, because he is having a bunch of questions. He is actually a renowned, as far as I know, veterinary pathologist and poultry health consultant working in North India. Please, Dr. Praveen Singh, you may unmute your microphone and put your questions. Dr. Praveen?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, I have several questions, small ones. First thing is, while using the full-fat soya, what precaution we can take to include it? Because rancidity will be a problem. So is there any, what is the acceptance of laboratory basis so that we can use it actually? Because of rancidity, people don't use it. Which test can be used and how to interpret?
No, actually, rancidity, FFA you can check, actually. If FFA is less, then no need to check another parameters. If FFA is more, then you have to check if the you can keep more of time. Then I think peroxide values also you can check, because peroxide value means then how much oxidized that you can be it can be judged, because you know FFA can give only the initial requirements, like initial thing. It is less FFA, then I think other thing is okay.
Sir, how much have FFA is acceptable in full fat soya?
Less than 5%.
Less than
5%.
5%. Okay. And sir, if I could ask the same thing for MBM.
But MBM, I think fat is very less, actually, 5 to 7%. So
yes.
There's no much of this thing. MBM are other things, actually, other mixing in the MBM, then more of major problem is mixing of leather meal or mixing of some other raw materials to increase the protein level.
Okay, sir. Sir, does maize bran have carotenoids like as in case of gluten meal?
Maize bran?
Does it have the carotenoids?
No.
As in case of maize gluten, we get the carotenoids and get the yellow shank coloration. Can we have the same from maize bran?
No, maize bran, I think not much.
Not much.
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, the corn steep liquor, what is the maximum inclusion percentage in broiler and what is the limiting factor to decide that inclusion?
Yeah, broiler we are using around 2 to 3%. That depends on the moisture of the feed.
Okay.
Sometimes, like in summer season, you can use up to 4% also, but generally 2% is okay. 2% is
So the moisture is actually the limiting factor to use
yeah,
it.
moisture is a limiting factor because it contains like more than 50% moisture. So
Oh.
when you use, so you have to take care of moisture also.
Sir, the lactic acid is not an issue.
No, lactic acid 2% you will not get it because the lactic acid is not a problem.
Sir, does it have any effect on palatability? The palatability index. Does it have any effect?
No, but it is very good palatability. Actually, if moisture is less, then it's good, very good palatability.
Okay, sir. Sir, GNE, what is the acceptable aflatoxin level to consider it?
Actually, we are considering less than 20 ppb
In ready feed or in GNE, sir?
in GNE.
Okay, sir. Sir, the DDGS machine method or sun-dry method, which should be purchased?
Actually, if you see protein-wise, sun-dry is better, but
Okay.
that also depend on the source, which source
Okay.
you are taking.
Okay.
But factory dry, I think most of the case it is always good because of limited source and good sources. But
Okay.
sun dry, many sources, some are good, some are bad.
So, sir, in absence of laboratory or in presence of laboratory, which one you will prefer, sir?
Sun dry.
Sun dry.
In
Okay.
presence of laboratory, sun dry is better. But if you are not having laboratory, then I think machine factory this one.
So, sir, what testing we will do on the sun dry?
Sun dry main is like aflatoxin, then salt percentage.
Okay, sir. Sir, last question from my end. DDGS, the broiler aspect, arginine, valine, isoleucine, tryptophan, etc. These kind of amino acids, how well are they present and what is their digestibility? Because that is the limiting factor in the broiler, I think.
No, that they are having a very good digestibility in that case. Only the limiting is lysine.
Okay, okay. So if we can put the synthetic lysine properly, this can be used, right?
Yeah, because in layers people are using where they are not using soya, they are using only lysine. Because if you use DDGS more than 10%, no need of add any DLM.
Okay, okay. Sir, in broiler we are going up to 13% of DDGS, rice DDGS, but the kind of nutritional specs we use, we have to it shows that it is deficient in those 4 amino acids.
No, but in broilers we used up to 5%, 5 to 7% actually.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Because thing is that now in layers you can use, but broiler no, because broiler a lot of problems we seen actually. Yeah.
Sir, what will be the problem that we will face if we go above 5-6%?
No, actually, sometimes we seen that their growth pattern is not good actually. Some uneven birds are there, and growth pattern is not good, and fishes condition is also not good. So these are the things. But
So the sir growth pattern and feather pattern, etc., will they depend on the amino acid profile? The
yeah,
balancing
definitely
amount.
yes, definitely yes.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Welcome, sir.
Okay, there is another question from our respected Bharat Dai. I think he is looking after formulation of poultry, pea, cattle, and even goat in National Livestock Breeding Farm Pokhara. His question is about maximum inclusion percentage of heat treated mustard cake. He has not mentioned the breed. I think he is trying to know about broiler layer and even different stages. Maximum inclusion percentage of heat treated mustard cake.
Yeah, mustard DOC. Generally, we use in mustard DOC and in broilers like B0, B1, B2, 3 to 4% or 3 to 5% X. But in layers up to 6% you can use easily. And cattle generally they use mustard cake, not DOC, but cake, and they have to use both because more of oil is not good for dairy also. because of uric acid and pungent smell.
Okay, thank you. And there is another question. What are the chances, benefit and challenges of using insect larvae? Black soldier fly is alternative source of protein feed in commercially in
Yeah, I think this is a very new concept, and I
in
think
Nepal and India.
I think one guy in Bihar actually he did this, and they are doing, but it is not commercially available. And maybe future it may be having more focus, and it may be good for layers. I think so, because you know that poultry, they are not a vegetarian, so definitely they like this.
Okay, once again, Bhatta sir, do you want to put one more question? Vivek Bhatta.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Dr. Yadav.
Please go on. Yeah.
Yes.
I have one question for you. We are using 35% broken rice in our layer feed.
Okay.
The yolk color is off yellow. So what is your suggestion for good yolk color?
Yeah, you use Gentophil. You use like two colors are available. One is red and one is yellow. So according to product, you can use 10 to 15 gram per ton of feed, and you get a good yellow yolk color.
From DSM.
Yeah, DSM.
I think
then
they
DSM,
have.
then 25 gram, 25 gram.
Any other grain we can purchase from Indian market, like maize gluten or
yeah, maize gluten, yes, that can be, but I think that color may be better, I think, because you know that broken rice or rice cutting, it is very good source of energy, and price is also very good as compared to maize. So we have to use as much as we can use. For the coloring, we have to use this Gentophil. I think that is much better way to take
because of
yellow and red.
Actually why we are using the broken rice, that's only the cost cutting of the feed. The product of DSM color is very expensive.
Not expensive. 20 gram, 20, if you add 20 gram, not expensive.
Actually, sir, we are using.
If you use MGM, if you
color.
are using MGM, maize gluten meal, then it is very costly because of as per layer is concerned.
At the time, if we are using 35% broken rice in our feed, then what is the maximum inclusion of the MGM in our layer feed that time?
MGM, because that may be not feasible.
Not feasible.
Not feasible.
Okay.
Cost wise not feasible.
If we use 3%,
actually
3% of the MGM.
I'm just telling you one example.
Okay.
In layer farms, like in Chandigarh, I use no maize and no soya.
No soya.
Okay. So bajra, you know that give
more I
black
know,
is
very well.
Bajra, broken rice, mustard, MBM, and I added 25 gram each red and yellow from DSM, and one Chinese company also, they are selling 10 gram. So that we used, and it was color of like 10 to 11 of their coloring this one.
10 to 11, sir?
10 to 11.
Means that it's a very good color.
11 yeah, very good. Yeah, I am surprised. I was surprised.
Yeah,
because
actually,
no soya, no maize.
Oh, actually, we are using 100 gram of yellow.
No. 25 is okay. 25 gram yellow and 25 red. Because you use only yellow, but you use both yellow and red.
25 and 25 gram red. 100 and 25 gram total.
No. 25 yellow, 25 red.
So we are using maximum.
Yeah, you are using more actually. And even if you use only yellow, then it will not give good color actually.
I will share you my feed formulation. I will getting the email address from Dr. Vivek.
Okay.
then I will send you.
Okay, no issue.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Sir.
Okay.
We will coordinate. Thank you for your queries. And again, there are still questions appearing. I think if it is from, yeah, you can proceed. You can unmute and ask Dr. Praveen.
Sir, in case of broiler, if we are
Mhm.
going on complete rice diet, so does pigments play role there? Do they help? And yellow or red? Which ones?
No, sir. Never tried.
Okay, because
Because
people are
it
claiming.
will no because in that case MGM is better option.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I have tried MGM, but now
Mhm.
people are claiming that 50 grams of red can provide very good shine coloration, and some companies are using also. But even I have to try it, sir. That's why I was asking.
No, I never tried it. Broilers generally not tried, and because that is not a need of this thing. But
Okay.
definitely MGM give this because people are in
Yes, sir.
Bihar and this part.
MGM is working
Yeah,
quite good. Sir, MGM
yeah,
on inclusion of 3.5 percentage over to some 20% maize. It will give good color, right?
yeah.
Sir, can you comment on GSM versus BASF on this forum for the
DSM versus
pigment?
BSF pigment.
Yeah.
I think BSF I never tried, but DSM yes, they tried. But BSF is also very good company actually. They may be having very good actually. BSF is good company, but I never tried. I tried only DSM and one Chinese company in India actually. They are selling and their dose is around 10 gram and that give same result as DSM 25 gram. I don't
Okay,
know
sir.
the
Thank you very
company
much.
name. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your questions. And once again, thank you, Dr. Sunil Yadav, for your wonderful talk, for your insightful presentation. And thank you very much for accepting our invitation. Thank you for sharing your valuable time with us. And we look forward to cooperating with you in upcoming days for similar program for the betterment of animal nutrition sector, poultry nutrition, feed formulation, and poultry industry. And thank you very much. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you, doctor, and thank you, Vet Nepal team. I think this is a very wonderful program and to make understand about poultry and nutrition and raw materials because in study, all the very little study in nutrition and other parts, only you work more on the pathology and other things, postmortem, but these things are also very important as you need know that a very competitive market as per the production type and anything like broiler layers, builders. So good. Thank you, Vet Nepal team.
Thank you. So also I would like to thank to the participants for their overwhelming interest and for their disciplined participation. And I would like to inform about tomorrow's program. Tomorrow we are again. As you know, this is a 6-day webinar, and each day we are discussing on 3 topics. Tomorrow the topics we have are understanding the functional benefits of amino acid beyond the crude protein. And Dr. Roshan Adhikari will be speaking on this topic from all the way from United States of America. Currently, he is a product development manager at CJ Bio America. Likewise, the second topic will be calcium and phosphorus sources used in chicken feed. Dr. Subhas Shrestha, who is looking after the technical with chief technical officer in Anmol Feeds in Nepal. He will be dealing with this topic. And other nutritionist, I personally regard him as the legendary veterinarian in the poultry feed formulation and nutrition sector, Dr. Dinesh Gautam. He will be talking about the use of minerals, vitamins, and toxin binders in poultry feed. Once again, thank you very much. Thank you all the speakers, Dr. Anil Kumar Tiwari, Dr. Arjun Acharya and Dr. Sunil Yadav, and thank you, dear participants, for your participation. Thank you very much. We will again join tomorrow, same time. Thank you all.